and welcome to University of North Texas Percussion's 10 Questions Plus. Tonight we are honored to have Japanese Marimba Virtuoso Keiko Abe with us. Keiko, I will introduce her in just a moment because she is so dear to us here at North Texas. She has visited here many times and recorded with us, and I will explain and introduce her in just a second. But first, I'd like to introduce her assistant tonight, Michiko Oshima, and Michiko is going to introduce a few people to you.
Hello, I'm so honored to be here translating Keiko. And behind Keiko, you see two students from Toho, you and Misaki, who are helping Keiko to mute or to do whatever we need. Then I'd like to introduce Tomoko Nakamura. Nakamura sensei, 手振ってください. Yeah, she's on the faculty and she's invited all the Toho students. So they're joining, maybe 10 of us. Yeah, and she's been to North Texas, and she's very happy to be here. Thanks, Mark.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michiko. We're so excited to have Keiko here with us. And the reason Tomoko has her North Texas shirt on is because in 2006, Keiko came to North Texas, and we performed her Prism Rhapsody with the UNT Wind Symphony. And she also performed 3 solos with Whale Song. And we took this concert to Pasek, and we performed an evening concert at Pasek. And this concert also included UNT faculty members Paul Rennick, who's with us tonight, Christopher Dean, and Robert Shitroma. And Brian Zader also played on one tune as well. So we were, Brian was a DMA candidate at the time, and we just had an amazing chance to work with Keiko, and she brought several students. And Tomoko was at that time working with Keiko, and she came with about 6 to 8 students, I believe. I can't remember the exact number, but we had such an amazing time. 8 making music. Well, let me just speak now a little bit about Keiko Abe, an amazing musician, a visionary for the marimba, and a dear friend. Was so excited when she said yes, that she would be able to do this Zoom session for us. We've been trying to get her back to North Texas in the last several years, but it's been a difficult time, as you know, with this pandemic and also with other events that happened earlier. So this is awesome. I want to let you know, not only is Keiko back to the late 1960s when she had her early recitals with the first recitals that featured music completely written for the marimba, the whole recital. And this was really a first in the history of the marimba. Before that time, there had been many transcriptions written with just a few works originally written for the marimba. But Keiko's ideas about music, her commissions, and also her ideas about development of the 5-octave marimba through her work with Yamaha has really affected all of our lives. And the stories go very deep, and I don't want to speak for too long here, but I can't tell you how much of an impact she's had on my life, on my students' lives, and students all around the world. So Keiko, it's such a pleasure to see you again and be with you. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All of the students have submitted questions, and the faculty selected 10 of these questions to ask Keiko, and each of the students will ask their question in order, and we're going to also post them up in Japanese too, thanks to Michiko, so those students in Japan would be able to read the questions. Our first person to ask a question tonight is Robert Chapman. Robert is a master's candidate in percussion performance, and he's from Austin, Texas. Robert, can you start us?
Sure. Hi, Ms. Abe. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. It's a real honor and a pleasure to be able to speak with you. So my question is probably more than most, if not all, marimba players. You've been at the forefront of helping legitimize the marimba as a concert instrument. So I was wondering if you wouldn't mind talking about some of your early influences from composers, and also if there are things that the younger generation can do to keep pushing the marimba towards being a legitimized concert instrument. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
So, yes. So, but before I would like to say about some greeting. Anyway, just a moment. I'm so happy today to talk with Mark and the students in the Zoom session. Then, so when I met Mark in Poland, was 6 years ago, and played duo my piece, web impression, and work together the competition. That time flies so quickly. Since my English is very bad, very poor today, so I asked Michiko Oshima as interpreter for me. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions. So your question, the Robert, your question now you gave me, that means how to build my career or marimba on marimba, that means? When I was elementary school, I played the xylophone as a simple, small instrument ensemble. And that time I had great teacher, Hamada Tekikuo. So I learned many of the how to make ensemble sound and impressed the ensemble sound. After in the junior high school, before I got the lesson from the Eiichi Asabuki, and often I heard Yoichi Hiraoka xylophone concert. After I went to junior high school, that time very important, 1950. Rakua mission came from America. Then so they brought the marimba, and they played for a musical ceremony on church. Family, clarinet, trombone, harp, and marimba. Dr. Rakua played marimba. That time I was shocked. Not why, because before I played the xylophone, completely different sound, deep, that's especially low sound was incredible. And that marimba sound touched me. Since that, I am marimbist. Then, so that time, I learned many things under the Eiichi Asabuki. He taught me the almost transcription pieces. Of course, it's very important but one day his lesson was very generous and free. He said, please, you selected next lesson piece, this piece. He has many collection of the pieces, Eiichi Asabuki. Then he arranged from orchestra, chamber music, and opera to marimba and the piano. And I just looked for next lesson piece. I found out the flute, Doppler, composed by Doppler, flute piece, Hungarian pastoral fantasy. Then I saw score. Flute part had so freely. And so I was shocked. I really wanted to play like that freely on marimba music. After I bought that flutist, Marcel Moïse, maybe famous, great artist. Marcel Moïse, I bought SP, that SP, not LP, SP record by Marcel Moïse. Then when I heard that SP, I was shocked, great. And I couldn't stand up. Just, I thought he is like a god of music. Then I decided I want to follow his way on music. Every day I listened his SP and wrote down and made the same phrase, same breath. I learned how to make music, how to make a phrase, how to make a breath from Marcel Moïse. Then now my musicality, everything core is Marcel Moïse music. Then after I went to university, then that time, why we don't have original piece on marimba? Pianist played just piano music. Why? That time, America, I had that by the Chenoweth commissioned concert of Kaka, and also Jack Kana commissioned the Mio, that is the Mio concert. I had that original concert. I decided I got the great influence from them. Then finally I decided we need to have original pieces on marimba. Then I start to commission many composers. Then that time, I didn't ask composer, marimba should be like that. This way is effective or not. I never said, just I asked composer, please write down your music on marimba. Because if I advise something, marimba has a such technique, marimba has a such good things, bad things. If I said to composer, he has some limited imagination on marimba, then I suggest something. That means my marimba, I want to have a more wider possibility over the me. Then when I asked composer commission, I never said marimba is like that. Please write your music, just straight. Then composer wrote their music. It was a start, 1968. Then I got many great pieces. Now you played by maybe in the program by the Akira Yama, alt saxophone and marimba, Yama Akira, Akira Miyoshi, Tortri, and Tanaka Tubunden, band, and Noda Teruyuki, quintet, Martinata, and make time for marimba. So that's very important repertoire now. So in the world, many students play this program. But so I don't know, this is a fixed question. Michiko helped me. His play
素晴らしいと思います。大丈夫だと思いますけれども。
makes sense.
Is she covering what you're asking, Robert?
Yeah, this is perfect. Thank you so much.
完璧だそうです。
Thank you, Keiko. Yeah, that was beautiful. I just want to insert because I failed to mention that in 2014, this is what Keiko is speaking about, is that 35 UNT percussion students traveled to Poland, and that this was the drum line that we took plus 10 marimbists to participate in Poland's Drum Fest competition in Opole. I had been serving as the artistic director for the classical side of that conference, which lasts 5 to 6 weeks. And Keiko came, and we had an amazing time for this. During this time, we premiered her wave concerto in Poland. And then the drumline played in Krakow. We played in several cities. And that's the last time we saw each other. And that's what she's referring to. And it's a really important time for North Texas because we had such an incredible exposure and opportunity. Our next question, Keiko, comes from a freshman, first-year student, Logan Scott, and he's a music ed major from Georgetown, Texas.
Yeah.
Logan?
Hello, it's such an honor to be speaking with you on this Zoom call right now. My question is, what do you personally think is the most challenging part about playing the marimba, like note accuracy, musicality, anything else? And what is the most important aspect for you when you're preparing your own repertoire?
Okay, during my performance, I never think nothing. I don't think anything. Just I want into the composer's music, which written that written piece. Just concentrate to listen listen composer's music. Then also listen my sound. I never think other things, only music. Study or playing on marimba very important is make music. Then you should give a great influence to audience by music. Now marimba has many pieces, and also try to another technical way. And I think if a technique is over the music, just a show, then I'm afraid of marimbist in the near future. Marimba field has a kind of show. But we need to get the true musician, true music to give the audience recognize, oh, marimba like piano, violin. So they had touch a heart, appreciate that music. So please don't forget, marimba is not special musical instrument. That's the piano, violin. Now, so just I'm afraid of that. Marimba instrument has a such possibility so wide, and you can do anything like something dance and moving and smile, but this is not music. Corrected music, then so audience impressed, touch her. Finally, marimba can decide it for people. For example, if you listen the piano one night, then really impressed he or her piano play music. Maybe you just thinking of music. Then when you got home today, so I'm happy. My heart is feeling by the peaceful, strong energy by music. I hope marimba instrument should be like that. After when you listen to marimba at home today, what kind of instrument? Oh, marimba. Forget marimba. Just leave the music only in heart. Then after, oh, he played marimba. That situation, you got such situation in social. I think marimba is survive. Otherwise, so just, of course, marimbist played marimba, so enjoy, but only by herself, by himself. Other people, I don't know how to think about, how to get the strong, deep impression from instrument. I don't know. But please do play real music, strong music. So, and okay, it makes sense, your question.
Thank you very much.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Keiko.
Yeah.
Logan and everyone else, Miss Abe is going to perform a recital, I believe, a week from Friday there in Tokyo. Yes, Keiko?
Yes. Yes.
Would you like to tell them what you're doing and the pieces that you're playing?
All my competition program is all my competition, and concert hall organized this concert from 2 years before, because they discussed about the association concert hall member discussed, then choice us. That course is platinum course. Only six person musicians were selected, and as marimbist, I was one of them. I'm so glad that, because before violinist and pianist from quartet from Vienna and jazz, Toshiko, なんだっけ、ピアノ、Akiyoshi Toshiko, and so that's a great musician. That marimba, marimbist. So one of them. So that the program. Then title, subtitle. What say it in English subtitle?
It says a pioneer in marimba world who keeps walking.
Yeah, that title. Then so my computer also helps me the pianist Akira Imai, who was a professor on Vienna University now in Tokyo Kunitachi. Then so when I was playing in Vienna, often play with him in Vienna. I invited him, and also Tomoko Nakamura and Rika Fuji, who is they are teaching at Toho with me together, and just very good team. I invited them to my recital piano platinum recital series next week, 16.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. I wish we could all jump on a plane and come hear you play.
Yeah, I
Keiko.
hope to.
So soon you'll have to get on the plane and come to us and play it. Okay, that'd be fun. Yeah. Okay. Our next question is from Jacob Fullinwider. Jacob is from Kansas City, Missouri. Jacob?
Yeah.
Hello, Ms. Abe. It's such a pleasure to have you on this Zoom call. And my question is, what do you think about when you're performing a piece? And what is your practice routine like?
Okay, so I start scale and arpeggio. Then so next practice next concert pieces. Then with that instrument, just take seat and look at the score. Then I want to learn how to composer said, how to his music. Then without instrument, I memorize that piece. Then find out difficult parts. Only difficult part I use instrument practice. Finally, I get the from beginning to end. And also almost my now start improvisation. They making compose often. Recently, I am playing that's my original piece. But when I play the composer's commissioned pieces, I read score carefully with that instrument. Just I need to know composer said, what said on music. Then memorize. Very important to memorize for me. That okay? It makes sense?
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. Our next question is from a freshman from Rio Grande City in Texas. Her name is Gracie Bazan.
Hi, Ms. Abe. It's such an honor to meet you. You are one of the most popular and influential marimba artists in the world, and so many of your pieces are considered standard repertoire. When other players play your compositions, do you ever hear something new, or perhaps a new understanding of how others interpret your music? If so, does this affect how you write your future works or your other musical interpretations of it?
Oh. 音楽聴くときに何だはい、sorry, just
他の、人の演奏とか作品が、影響を受けることか。
影響を受けるか。Okay. My mother was a painter. When I was a child, often she took me to museum. When I was a child, always I got some impression from picture. When I composed, so I got some imagination from picture, great influence to me. Then others saw just nature, and others folk song. I got some impression. And what was it? Okay. これ他の人が弾いてどう思うか
他の人の解釈に自分が解釈で影響を受けること、解釈についても影響を受けること。
演奏にね。Okay, so sometimes I got influence from other performers, performer. But if someone played very strong impression to give me that time only, because my composition is always composed by my improvisation, my heart, part of my heart, part of my body. So if someone play their way is very, really musical. That time I got great influence, but not other composers has each approach on it. From other composers, very not so influenced, not get influence from other composers. When I compose my heart, so don't compare the other composers. 他とあれだっていうの？
他のあと人が先生の曲に先生の曲に演奏しているときにこういう解釈もあるんだなと思うようなことってありますか？
じゃあそれは May I speak in Japanese? 私の曲を誰かが弾いてたのを聞いて、その方が本当に音楽的に弾いたときは感動を受けます。
When her piece is played so musically, she can be so moved.
で、私の曲は自分の即興から生まれてる曲で、私の心を語る曲なので、他の作曲家から影響を受けるということはあまりない。
Because most of my pieces come from improvisation, so I'm rarely influenced by composers.
それから
大丈夫かな？Is she answering your question, I think?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, my poor English. I hope I understand.
No, we understand you fine. No, that sounds wonderful. Yes. Thank you, Gracie. Our next question is from another freshman, Asa Nero, and he's from Fairfax, Virginia, and he's a jazz major, Keiko.
Oh.
Hi, Ms. Abe.
Hi.
My question is, since you've commissioned more than 70 pieces for marimba, I was wondering if you could share some of the memories about that process and developing relationships with composers, and also about maybe some memorable stories from those early commissions.
Yeah. Then so. Most important is when you 感動するってなんだっけ？Moved the music, so French moved is very important to everything. Then for
いろんな作曲家の人たちとのやりとりって
作曲
家の先生方とのどういういきさつがあったんですか？
過去にね。Okay, when I commission 作曲家と話すときはさっき言ったように音楽を出してくれということ、マリンバということを特別に固定して言えない。 それはなぜかというと、それによって私以上の作品が生まれないから。
When she commissions a piece, as she said before, she would ask for a music, not a marimba piece, because the music is so important, and she wants it to be very musical and get a frame out of what music, marimba music is supposed to be.
そう。だから、後からの質問は何だっけ？
いろんなエピソード的なところ？エピソード的なところ？エピソード的なところ、そうですね、スタジオ音楽家だった時の話とかさっきこの前されて、スタジオミュージシャンとして先生いろいろ作曲家この人に頼みたいと思うようになってるしてみます？
影響を受けた作曲家？
でも作曲家とのやり取りとか移植のプロセスですね。最初の頃の移植がどういうふうに起こったかっていう話。
作曲家は最初にオリジナルが欲しいと思った時、まず私スタジオミュージシャンしてた時にたくさんの作曲家のと出会いました。
And she had a great opportunity to meet all kinds of composers as a studio musician when she was younger.
で、そこからこの作曲家はマリンバに興味があるかどうかを知りました。
Then she would find out if this composer is actually really interested in instrument marimba. That's what she wants to find out first.
そしてそれから彼の作品のコンサートとスコアを見ました。
And she would look at his score of the composition.
そして可能性があると思ったら電話をして会うってマリンバに興味がありますかと聞いてあると言ったらそこから移植が始まった。
Then, after looking at the composer's score, she would phone people, the composers, then ask if they can write for marimba, actually.
そしてできたらうちに来てもらって、あるパートを弾いてもらって私がそれをまた弾いてまた次の週に部分を持ってきてそして書いてもらった。
Then the composer would come to my house, her house, then she would try out. Then in the following week, the composer would come back and they would just collaborate together.
ですから常に、always I worked with a composer, even the new pieces by composer. That means very active on when you play the marimba. So maybe you don't feel, okay, I played just rhythm music. More music becomes your music. So and so almost my repertoire made this way.
Wonderful. Keiko, maybe you could speak a little bit about your commissioning with Minoru Miki and Marimba Spiritual and what that process was like for that piece. It's played, as you know, all around the world and recorded many times. And I know you had a lot of input. Yes.
Yeah. My friend, and what is that though? 1968. I commissioned to Minoru Miki and I called to him. He says, just finished the marimba concert or something other. Now, very difficult to compose a solo piece. Then almost I gave up, but after the 10 days, he called me. Oh, I got some idea. Solo marimba, like just fix it in Indonesia. Music comes naturally, comes Indonesia. That's that feeling. He got that feeling. So you can, he can use those impressions on solo marimba. He said, yes, I can write marimba solo. It was time for marimba. Then marimba spiritual. It was so hard time to get the support money. 1 year before, I got a telephone call from Netherlands, UNT Percussion, and who is a principal percussionist on the concert table orchestra. Then I was in Rotterdam. And Rotterdam Orchestra made some series, chamber music series. Now, percussion ensemble entered that chamber music series. Jan said, please come as soloist of our percussion ensemble. Okay, I'm so glad. I believe the Japanese pieces. Then I want to commission the new piece. Jan said, no, sorry, we don't have enough money not money for prepare to compose them. But I said, I really want to bring the new piece. Okay, I look for the sponsor. Then I start to ask some record company and publishers and insurance company. But so they got everywhere said music is disappear. Even so, picture is just big. Then so new piece doesn't have a value, good or not, never know. So we don't have such money. That answer was so shocked and killed me. But I didn't give up. Then finally, I was so tired working NHK floor. I met one producer who is in charge of the contemporary music. I said, he said to me, oh, you faced so bad, tired. What happened? He asked me. I said, now I explained about my problem. He said, oh, I have small money budget. It's okay? He asked me. I said, oh, great. Even so small money, composer, it is good for composer commissioned by NHK, not personally. Please telephone to composer Minoru Miki, talked about the situation. Finally, so Minoru agreed that, then made the Marimba Spiritual. When I played this at world premiere in Holland, concert table, so it was success, great success. The same year, finally Yamaha company finished the completely finished the developed the instrument, 5 octave. At first year, 5 octave exists as a concert marimba. Of course, folk music and traditional marimba had a big one, but as a classic, it was the first 5 marimba. I used this marimba concertable, Amsterdam. The same day, I went to America. Then Michigan, Michael Udo organized the PAs. Then I played American premiere. That time, I was problem for percussion part. Then stayed young, when we stayed young house, I asked young, I have problem to play this piece in America. I don't know percussionist. Young called to Michael Logan and Annie Lang and Michael Buchanan. Even that after the 1 hour, he said, Keiko decided. 3 nights of Keiko decided. Then I played 1984 in Michigan at the American play, Marimba Spiritual. Still such a good memory. That time, Rebecca Kite was there. Of course, the host was Michael, and you were there. So all the American, I met all the American friends, percussionists. It was a great moment. Marimba Spiritual, this piece made in such a way. My music every week went come 10 miles to my house. And 8th major. Next week, 16 major. I played this one, this one, this one. Then back home. Finally, I got Marimba Spiritual. Now, so with good repertoire. Marimba Spiritual is.
That's beautiful. That was a powerful performance, and that's wonderful. Thank you for telling us about that, Keiko. That's an amazing story. We have Brandon Waters for us next. He's from Las Vegas, and he's a sophomore. Hi, Brandon.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Ms. Abe, it's such an honor to meet you. You've inspired me so much as both a performer and a composer. And so my question is, do you find that your approach to composition relies more on theory or improvisation or a bit of both? And has this approach changed over time?
Okay. So anyway, my composition comes by improvisation. Because I told you before, marimba is my part of heart, part of body. Always, if I had some stress or something disappointed on marimba, just play, start improvisation. Marimba can be peaceful feeling. Just instead of my talk language, through marimba, by the music, I can talk to other people. So that my composition is made by improvisation. Theory, sometimes, for example, when I made the CD, all improvisation, that time played with Dave Samuels concert hall, then took the live recording. Then I took the dictation from CD. But so improvisation is so complicated and so free. Then some part, little bit difficult to dictation, how to write down. That time I used the theory. Then made the piece. Exactly. So that, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
That's awesome. You know, Keiko, with Brandon's question there, maybe you could talk just briefly about Prism. Our students play Prism, and then you have used this composition, at least the thematic ideas, in the Conversation in the Forest and Prism Rhapsody, and just how would you take that small, the beginning piece, and turn it into these other works?
Because prism has many words had many possibilities. Prism. Then at first I composed the prism. Oh, I took the name prism and solo. Then I put it every possibility using two mallet, effective pattern. Put it all the solo pieces. Then after that is a kind of essence of the two mallet, really original marimba approach. When then duet, I made duet because always I want to expand from solo to more wide explain about music. Duo, then with other instrument, conversation. Then finally, I did another vision. Core, center, prism. But I could make some imagination for prism rhapsody in the forest. Strong sunlight on the forest. So I made imagination. So that imagination. Then light comes into forest. So can make a small animal and small plants. So beautiful. Some tiny sound and things. Then I could make a next pattern, like a free improvisation, small animal talk to me, something like improvisation. Then, like some mushroom, like plant, come with something. All in the forest, I could make many imagination. Then composed. Always so wider and spread the music and made the imagination. So that rhythm. So changing the title and do you like Prism Rhapsody? When I play with
Oh, yes.
good memory.
Oh, Keiko performed at Prism Rhapsody. We premiered the wind ensemble version that Eugene Corporon helped with the arrangement. And it's on a CD, and it's one of the most memorable performances for me, Keiko, to be on stage with you. And we had such an amazing time. But we also made 2 video recordings of the same piece. But what was amazing with Keiko's approach to this music was it wasn't just to reproduce what the notes that she had written. Every time we did this piece, she would adapt it and change, and there would be an improvisation. I'm sure, Keiko, you remember the first time we recorded this, we actually played the cadenzas that you wrote out. But the second time, Keiko looked at me and said, let's just improvise this cadenza. And it was really a beautiful, beautiful moment for me. And of course, we got to perform it several times, including at PASIC. So those of you North Texas students, you can go see her playing in the Murchison Hall in these videos. And that piece is amazing as a growth from the original solo. It's incredible.
Yeah, thank you very much. So great memory for me. And I appreciate Corporan.
Oh,
so,
my. Yes.
Yeah, he at the piano and the harp also.
The harp, yes, we added the harp and the piano.
The harp and piano. So I appreciate that. And the music is always moving like a human life. So I want to never play same approach.
Yes.
Each time change that I and you understand and then you cooperate, made such a great piece, performance. Thank you very much.
Oh, we had such a beautiful time. Thank you, Keiko. Our next question comes from Trevor Deary. Trevor is a master's graduate student from Austin, Texas. Trevor?
Hello, Miss Abe. It's an honor to be speaking to you tonight. So my question is, what were some of your most memorable musical performances that you've done? And can you talk about your experience performing outside of Japan for the first time?
Yeah. So for me, that's a very sometimes OK。私、時々ね、1年に3回か4回、神様が降りてくる時があるのね、コンサートで。それはなぜかわからないけど、神様に聞かされてるって時があるの。1年に3、4回しかないんですけど、そういう機会。
Just one, like 3, 4 times a year, she feels like a goddess or the musical god comes upon her. That only happens like 3 times a year for some reason.
で、覚えてる記憶も何回も忘れてるけれど、最初の1968年の最初のオリジナルのコンサート、それからベルリンのベルリンフィルハーモニックでコンチェルトを弾いた時、それから横浜のでみなとみらいで弾いた時はなんか覚えてます。神様が降りてきたっていうか、あとは私にとってどこで弾こうと、関係ないのね。もう音楽に入ってしまったら。ただ今記憶に残ってるのはいくつかのコンサートが、あとアメリカの PS で最初に行った時のコンサートも記憶に残ってる。なんか神様が降りてきた感じがしてた。カーネギーホール大ホールで弾いた時。
So back in 1968, when she gave a first marimba original piece solo concert, that was when that God came upon her. That is her first memory. Then after that, she doesn't quite remember, but yeah, the Philharmonic Hall or Yokohama's Minato Minai Hall or Carnegie Hall in the US, when she went there for the first time, that was when these gods came to her. But it doesn't matter to her like where she plays, and she doesn't know when and how this God comes to her, but she's very happy when that happens.
Thank you very much.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
So, Keiko, the next student is Denver Nuckolls. Denver is a master's candidate from Virginia.
Hello, Miss Abe. Yeah. It's an honor to have you in the call. It's very nice to meet you. My question was, where do you find inspiration outside of the percussive and musical worlds, and what is the process you go through of translating that inspiration, whether it's from nature or other things that inspire you, into musical expression like composition or performing?
Okay, so when I was in nature, and so I could hear that bird, quiet bird singing, and also plants make some noise, and wind makes noise, and also wind has some seasons feeling. Such a noise, not noise, that the musical noise. For me, that's all makes music for me. Then exactly I was there, then so in the forest or side of river or side of ocean. Sometimes, but sometimes at home and sit down, I could imagination, imagine such a beautiful sound, feeling, then improvise, compose. And others, folk song, because folk song has a lot of energy as a, sorry, because folk song has people living daily, living that song, doing, song has energy. And song music with people, I get some impression from energy from folk song. Then use some folk song kind of composition as a theme or very short theme. Then developed as a composition. But the others, so picture for me, picture so great, always front of picture. I could feel the painter's lonely feeling or some sense to music. I feel that feeling, that's been to my improvisation. Then I could make a composition. All right. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hope so. New York, yeah.
So, oh, you have more? You want to talk more on this, or you okay? You want to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We're getting up to Cheng, and she is from Macao, China, and she's a senior performance major here at North Texas.
Hi, Miss Abe. It's so great to see you. So my question for you is, I noticed from your marimba solo, Marimba de Amor, the melody is quoted from the Christian hymn, My God Loves Me. Is there something special or specific about that hymn that makes you write Marimba de Amor or wanted to add that melodic quote in the solo?
Okay. When I was a university student, 18, my vocal teacher gave me the one piece Italian song, Piace d'amore, composed by Martin. Then when I saw this music, Piace d'amore, you can so how beautiful I saw that melody. Then I thought melody, I want to use this melody as a theme on my composition. But 18 years old, I thought, I don't know about many kind of different love. Love is always two-sided. Trust, doubt, believe, doubt. So I thought when I was 80 years old, maybe I knew many different kind of love. Okay, when over 80 years, I take this melody, beauty melody to compose. Decided when I was 18. finally, I got 60 years old. I composed 63, this piece. During 18, from 18 to 63, I was thinking first part should be how to make the first part. Love is so sweet and tender. Maybe so the tremolo. No. Love is strong. Maybe bam, bam, bam. That's it. No, too strong. Then so there 30 years then I thought about love. I've got many experience. Also, I've got many effective way on marimba. For example, other piece, Wind in Bamboo Grove, with Dream of the Chili Blossoms. Many, I composed many pieces. During that time, I saved such way. Finally, I put it all that into the marimba d'amore. So I didn't know this melody is in the hymn. This composed by Martini, Piace d'amore. And Italian said, oh, this is Italian song. French said, no, this is a French song. Then, but Martini was born in Germany when he was 6 years old, moved to France. Maybe so, French song. Now, so over the world, many people know this melody, this melody. I'm glad you like this piece and play this one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's a beautiful work, Keiko, as you know. And we've had many students perform your Marimba d'amore over the years here. So thank you for that music. So beautiful. We're up to Jacob Betts. Jacobs is a senior performance major here from Fort Worth, Texas. And Jacob, would you like to ask your question for Keiko?
Yeah.
Hello. It's an honor and it feels so special to be talking with you from so far away. But my question is from your biography that's written by Rebecca Kite. She speaks a little bit about the differences in concepts of music between the East and the West. And she says, in the East, the energy of a piece of music or art is thought to already exist. It is present in the air, part of the universal energy of life. And the artist is the one who uses their creativity to give voice to what is already present so that others may hear or see the energy that is there. And I was wondering if you could give us a little more insight into that Eastern concept that music can convey the energy of the universe and of nature.
So between the Western and Asia has a completely different, culture. For European had stone culture and cave and hunting way always. But Asian also just
Agriculture?
Huh?
No.
Okay.
Like agriculture and farming?
Yeah, farm. Then, for example, Japan has like a wooden culture, paper culture. Then, so even 昆虫。そう、例えばね、昆虫、スズムシ。あなたたち、多分ヨーロッパの人にとってみれば昆虫だけど、スズムシとか、 そういうのを聞くと、私は季節を感じて、心がいっぱいになるんです。
When crickets come out in autumn, she's just so moved and her heart is filled with a happy feeling.
そういう自然の中にある音、自然の中のものから、このクリエイティブなもののエネルギーとか発想が浮かぶというのは、もしかしたらヨーロッパとよりは自然の中にあるというのがアジアは強いのかもしれません。
We might have a little more sound or energy in nature that can be transferred to art forms.
そこが自然に私にとって音楽を作る原動力になる。
That is her motivation to create, imagine, to
で、
make music.
ヨーロッパはさっき言いましたように石の文化で構築されて守られて狩猟民族で、日本は木の文化、紙の文化、そして枯れるっていうこともまた美しい。
European culture is so much about stone and protecting something. In Japanese culture, we appreciate wood and paper, and that's something that deteriorate over years. And that's a big part of the beauty, sense of beauty in this culture.
And for example, when I commissioned Akira Miyoshi for competition set piece, so when I visit his house and I asked, he agreed to compose. The title was Ripple. Ripple. Usually, ripple just go running up. Ripple, so many people think ripples are not so strong, but Akira Miyoshi said, ripple means universe. Universe, even storm makes a spread. This is ripple. Okay, for example, we fall down on the ground. This is ripple. Akira Miyoshi also made an explain about that, about the ripple. This is Asian, I think. Rebecca Kite said that meaning, I think.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Do you understand? Make sense?
The book that Jacob is referring to is Keiko Abe, A Virtuosic Life. And I wrote this down in the chat for you. This is a wonderful book. It's a wonderful book about Keiko's life, but also about the history of the marimba too. So it's a combination. And before we started this session tonight, Keiko mentioned to me, I hope it's okay if I say this, that she's in the process of writing a book about her compositions and about her experiences in music, and which to me, I think would be a beautiful thing for all of us that play the marimba, to understand the process that Keiko went through in order to create the music that she improvises and then crafts into a written composition.
Yes.
So this is a beautiful project, Keiko. Do you want to speak a little bit more about that book, just that you're developing now?
Okay. Yeah. Always so thinking is moving, approaching music on music and in the life. So now I'm writing book. Rebecca's book is perfect and perfect and so good explanation.
Yes.
My book is more something I got bad things and like a more real story.
Your book is
Maybe.
more personal, is what you're
Yes.
saying. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mhm.
And also, I'm writing explanation of pieces, not a theory, just my emotional writing.
Right.
Both is good. So Rebecca did a great job. So I was appreciate that. So high level intonation and explanation. I'm writing now, not so. Just but I. Like so but I don't know when it's published or not, but soon let you know.
Well, it sounds like a beautiful project, Keiko. And I think all of us that are listening right now, you know, because Keiko, our students now, they see the marimba everywhere. I mean, in the United States, every high school has several marimbas and they're performing. But as you know, and I know, when I was growing up and when you were growing up in the United States, it really wasn't that way. I mean, the marimba was more scarce. It was really just more xylophone, more keyboard, like with glockenspiel and the bands and orchestras. But Keiko's vision in being able to have a vision for what her art would be, which she mentioned earlier about how that she was going to present these concerts, the first time in the world of a full program full of compositions written only for the marimba, no transcriptions. This is a big deal. This was really huge. And to see that vision come true with the marimba and the way that she takes her life and energy toward the music. She has said many times tonight, it's the music that guides her decisions. And that has really been an inspiration for all of us. And I know it has been for me, Keiko. I mean, just to be with you in the times I've had that opportunity and to hear you speak and to hear your passion for the music is something that we can all understand and benefit from, because here she is, she's going to perform a recital next month. She's writing a book. I mean, Keiko, you are not slowing down at all. I mean, you are doing amazing things. And I think that should be an inspiration and motivation for all of us to continue to follow our heart and to follow the music.
Thank you very much.
Is there something else that you would like to speak about before we close this session off?
何か最後におっしゃりたいことありますか？
私のこと？私から？So my way was so marimba has to be independent instrument like a piano. I'm thinking close the piano, but how do you think about marimba mark in the near future? How do you think?
How do you think? I'm sorry.
About marimba.
How do I think about the marimba for the future? Wow. I have lots of ideas, Keiko, that happen because I'm surrounded by these amazing students and faculty, and they give me ideas about, and I know that at Toho, your students probably do the same thing with you. They will come in with different kinds of pieces that they have explored that I'm unaware of, and it makes me think like, oh, we could take the marimba and we could utilize that in a different type of chamber music application, or how that might happen. But the biggest thing for me, Keiko, and I know that this has been a goal of your life too, is to bring the music to the people. Have an opportunity to not let it become a novelty, but something that is standard, like the violin and like the piano that you just mentioned. So for me, it's really been about the quality of the music and not to perform. As you know, I feel strongly about not playing transcriptions so often. I want to play music originally written for this beautiful instrument. And I know this has been something that you've affected in me over the years. And that is something that I try to give to my students. So I think the future of the marimba is very bright, mainly because the path that's brought us here, like through yourself, through your work, and so many other amazing players and composers, has given us the foundation to do things that we couldn't even imagine 25
Oh,
years ago. Yeah.
wow, great. And so I hope that competition comes like really has originality. Marimba only can explore that music. Sometimes competition has even good play on piano or other instrument. I hope only marimba has originality. I hope. Then, so now in the world, in the musical field, not marimba doesn't have right position. So small position, but 50 years from now or 100 years from now, I hope great artist performer and great piece comes up, then little by little, marimba has some position in the musical field. Totally, marimba not so small now. Just I tried as much as possible with my energy. So I live during that time. I tried, but I'm so appreciate now. Not many, but few people are thinking of seriously that situation on the marimba situation. They try to work. I hope, but maybe 50 or 100 from now. The same like piano, violin, and flute, and guitar, Casaros did that so great things. So same level. And someone says, maybe marimba doesn't have an orchestra, not an orchestra instrument. That's why. So very difficult, and process is difficult to go into the musical field, big musical field. Someone said that.
I think your work, though, has laid the foundation. And you know what? We hear the marimba so much more nowadays through movie scores, TV scores, these types of applications. The marimba is so beautiful because it can whisper to you and it can be strong and rich at the same time. And our culture is changing. Even though the orchestra, it's not in the orchestra, now the film composers are utilizing our sounds, our marimba voice very often. And therefore it is now in the culture. And many people, I believe, they know the sound, but they don't recognize the name sometimes or what it looks like, but they know this sound. So it's coming. I think the things you mentioned are going to happen, hopefully before 100 years. But a little sooner, I hope. So, but no, I think this is a beautiful time for our art, and thanks to people like you who've inspired us all. We have a strong opportunity to build upon it, like I mentioned before. So, wow.
Oh,
Keiko, it's been such a pleasure to see you and be with you for this short hour and a half. I wish it was longer. So next time we have to have barbecue in Texas.
yes.
Okay? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
I remember you like the barbecue. So we will come back. When you come back, we will do this and we'll play some concerts and listen to the students again. And
So,
enjoy each other's company and sharing of music. Let's give Miss Abe all of our thanks and gratitude for your beautiful words and your inspiration and your love for the music and the art. It's something that's touched us all. Thank you so much, Keiko.
Thank you very much. I had very much so enjoyed and appreciate and talking with you and all guys. Thank you very much. And I hope you all of you are fine and safe from COVID.
Yes, yes. We are at North Texas, we're very safe. We're very fortunate that our numbers are very low. So we're very thankful. And we hope the same for you and your Toho students there. I know it's a difficult time. But that's why this session tonight is so special, because we get a chance to meet a whole new generation of players. And as you know, we'll share this later on with the world. And this will be a really beautiful thing too. So thank you so
very much.
Michiko, thank you so much for your help. All of the Toho students, thank you. Arigato, arigato. Okay, I need to work on my Japanese. So for next time.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Take care.
Take
Good
care.
night. Have a beautiful day. Thank you now. Bye-bye.
Bye.